This is GACenter, your look at the Grand Arena Championships of content creators from around the globe. Here are your hosts, Flair from Gaming Embers and the Nev from the Escape Pod Cast.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, Governor.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of GACenter. It is week 16. We are into month 4 of GACenter, and it's going to be an interesting week. The first week of GACenter this week kind of highlighted some of the Division 1, Division 2 players that were dealing with 2 fleets in the fleet node, so things have calmed down, but as you imagine, it's still going to be interesting. Let's see how everybody is coping in Division 1 and Division 2 with fleets. Let's see what those scores are this week. Flair, your messages for the day, please.
Usual proclivities. Guys, throughout the course of today's episode of GACenter, any bits, follows, cheers, anything like that, will be recognized in chat by our moderators, but we will take some time at the end of the episode to thank you all personally. Do know that we appreciate it. We enjoy everything that we do here, and but we've got a show to get on with. So Neil, let's crack on with it, shall we?
Hey, okay.
And we are starting with Commander Cody. Commander Cody this week going 3-0, only losing a single battle. The first 2 rounds, full clear one-shots, had absolutely no problems. Round 3, he has to deal with a timeout with Padme, the Padme Galactic Republic, using like Sergeant and Cody versus the Bugs. Unfortunately, had the timeout there, had to come in with the Bugs cleanup after that. But other than that, had an absolute smashing week. 3-0, only 1 loss. Good job, Commander Cody.
Oh, gone too far. Brain kill. No crown or whammy for brain kill this week. Round 1 saw him fail to clear a nightmare Darth Revan team. Like an absolute nightmare Darth Revan team. Of course, he picked up a full clear in round 1. And he did get a flawless victory, which is always a nice finish to the week. Luckily, his opponent did not attack in round 1, though. So that nightmare Darth Revan team could have been his comeuppance, but a triple for the week for brain kill.
Bulldog coming in as well with a triple. Not a triple whammy. Did not get the full clear. Round 1 had absolutely no issues. His opponent stumbling on his fleet. Round 2 is where he lacked the full clear. He could not beat Chimera fleet. Just kind of got smacked. Actually, he quit out of the battle. But his opponent also just stumbling on his defenses, couldn't clear his negotiator. Round 3, again, another full clear one-shot, and his opponent just couldn't deal with a Div 5 player having gas. So 3-0, excellent job for Bulldog.
Infinem with a great week. Round 1, great start as he picked up a flawless victory and got a hold with his Geos to secure victory. Round 2 was where one of his losses came, though, stopping the flawless victory. But the GG team that caused the loss did get defeated in the end. It didn't stop the full clear, so yay! Round 3 saw another loss, but the whammy was still on, so maximum effort from Infinem. Despite the loss against a weak JTR, the Bounty Hunters cleaned up, gave him the full clear. Whammy achieved. Well deserved. 3-0 for Infinem. There is Division 4, which has only got 4 people in it.
And even though Bulldog is technically not in this division, he's still, even though he doesn't have, he's not actually in Div 4, he's still just trouncing everyone just on banners and wins. So, excellent job.
I thought we'd confirmed last week that he was actually Division 4.
Is he actually? No, he's not.
You sure? I could have swore we confirmed him as Division 4.
I'm looking at his data right now. He's not. He's only doing 5 battles.
Okay, no worries. On to Div 3.
On to Div 3, and we are talking about the Lone Gunman. And full clear one shot. Round 1 had no issues. His opponent didn't even show up to play. Round 2 had some issues. Had to deal with General Grievous and JTR. Grievous took 3 battles and just stood. Couldn't deal with him. But opponent was just equally as dealing with issues because only cleared 2 teams and quit on the fleet. Round 3, full clear one shots, absolutely no problems. And his opponent had to deal with a slacker and couldn't even get past that one. Cleared 4 teams after that, and that's it. So Lone Gunman is rocking it out with a 3-0.
A 3-0 triple whammy for Stone 14. Good week, but he lost the crown in round 1, having to double tap a Geo team. This wasn't going to stop Stone, though, going balls out for the whammy, as he picked up a flawless victory in round 2, and he secured the whammy in round 3, despite a game crash, which you hate to see during an Ewok battle, and having to double tap the Geos yet again. The whammy was won, though, and a well-earned 3-0 triple whammy was got.
Orlamar this week with a 3-0, only losing a single battle. As he put it, he made the mistake of collecting all his feats and making the jump into Chromium early. So he played against all the other 3-0 Chromium players. Round 1, his opponent was high ranking in Kyber last season, both of them getting one-shot full clears, but he was more efficient with a pretty hefty amount. Almost a 40 banner difference. Jeez. Round 2, again, another high ranking player. Orlamar attacked first and cleared most of the board, and then his opponent did the same. They each had 2 teams left to clear, and he was behind by 6 banners. He finished his attack and had to wait to see how efficient his opponent was. In the end, one-shot full clears. He overcame the deficit and got the win. Round 3, again, even higher placing opponents, and was coming off a win against the number 8 ranked player from last season. He decided to switch it up and go heavier on defense, his gas holding the back wall. And even though Orlamar took 2 attempts against his gas, caused some inefficiencies in other areas, he got the full clear and got the win. So excellent job, Orlamar.
Renard had a pretty good start in round 1, getting a flawless victory. Good D gave him 3 holds, so nice, secure win in round 1. Moving into round 2, he had to change defensive strategy and placed DR, his Darth Revan team, on lower rear in fear of a territory battle kind of war where, you're not really going to clear everything. He needn't have worried, as his opponent didn't full clear, and he did. And guess what? His DR defense did hold. In round 3, he reverted back to a standard defense so he could go full offense. Everything went according to plan until fleets, where a double tap was required on a home 1 fleet. This standard D did its job, though, and he got the holds needed for victory. Triple whammy for our resident German Fox.
All right, on to Moyo. Moyo is rocking it out this week with a triple crown. No issues at all round 1. His opponent didn't even show up to play. Round 2, his opponent did show up to play. Trying to go toe for toe with a full clear one shot. Moyo efficient by a single banner. Round 3, again, no problems, nothing to deal with. His opponent was too scared to play. It's a 3-0 triple crown to Moyo.
V for Vendetta, the man in the mask. Only a triple whammy for Vendetta this week, as he lost a single solitary battle to a First Order squad in round 2. Using a CLS Chupio squad, no doubt. I mean, you wouldn't expect a CLS Chupio to fall, but OG Kylo stuck around and caused him a problem. And as a result of a timeout, I'm sure it sucked, but all he got was the whammy. So 3-0, triple whammy for Vendetta this week.
Marco.
No.
Oh, Andy, I'm sorry. Andy, for some reason I jumped ahead.
I've
Andy
got Marco.
Beads.
You've got Andy.
Yeah, that's right. For some reason it looked off to me. I was like, what? Andy Beads going in with a 2-1. Round 1 was a win. He got the full clear. Nothing really special of note, according to him. Round 2 was the loss, though. Both his opponent and him got full clears. He made a boo-boo against the Geos team, costing him the victory, losing by 20 banners. Round 3 was a win. Opponent went heavy offense, leaving him with a paper-thin defense, which he proceeded to underman most to efficiently win by 30-ish banners, both getting a full clear, but Andy taking that efficiency. 2-1 for the Canadian.
Marco from Syndicate Games had a very, very bad week. Got out-banned in round 1 by 15, and he got held to less than 1,000 banners in round 2. You just hate to see it happen. You really, really do. But at least he did get a consolation victory. It came in round 3, so thankfully no washout. 1 and 2 for Marco. And there is Division 3.
Yep, look at that. Orlamar still holding pretty strong up at the top.
Vendetta. Oh, he desperate. I don't know how he's going to make up the banners. I really, really don't know how he's going to make up the banners.
Oh, I think really it's just going to be a matter of what happens, because Orlamar did say he was stuck in that position where he was in the higher players. So situations like that, I think Vendetta is going to have to look for to see if something trips him up eventually.
Yeah, he definitely
doesn't look like it's going to just yet.
Yeah, he definitely can't afford to not get the full clears. That's for sure.
Okay,
let's move on to round Division 2. Div 2.
Onto our Div 2 players. Starting off with Scribe. Round 1, no problems at all. Full clear one shots. And his opponent just could not get past his negotiator. Did 2 attempts and just kind of failed. Round 2, he did have to double tap Bosk Bounty Hunters. But that was it. His opponent having to double tap the Geos, and again, not getting past his negotiator. On round 3, had to double tap a Malevolence Fleet. And then his opponent was just as a little less inefficient. Had a timeout against the Newt Seps, and had a lost battle with Basel versus GG. So Scribe taking a 3-0. Excellent job, man.
Gator, no data, no report. Let's move on.
On to Fartmart.
Fartmart.
3-0. First round, he had a 50-50 shot to beat Darth Revan. So he went with the idea of going for a heavy defense instead. His opponent made very little progress and got 2.5 areas. His opponent made very little progress while he got 2.5 areas. Round 2 went heavy defense again. His opponent had a ton of high GP teams, but no bench. Full clear. Fortmore got, but his opponent missed on top. Round 3, his opponent had a GG that Fortmore knew he could not one-shot. So he went extremely heavy defense, and his opponent failed on multiple teams. Only clearing the bottom, while Fortmore was able to 3-shot GG and get the full clear. So a 3-0 for the Fartmart.
Bomber Fett. 3-0, triple crown. Round 1 saw a flawless victory and a big fail from his opponent, who just could not respond in kind. Round 2 was much of the same, as he picked up another flawless victory, and again, his opponent failed to full clear. Round 3 was another one of those strange instances where opponents don't attack in the final. I don't get it. I just don't get it. You're in the final. All you got to do is show up and fight. And anyway, this guy had a gas and a JKL. And he didn't put them on defense. So, God knows why. Hey, triple crown for Bomber. He ain't complaining.
All right. We're on to Kate Gaming. Round 1, full clear one shot. Had no issues. And opponent just failed to show up. She's lucky with these, I swear. Round two, boy, she had some issues with the bugs, with the bears. Yeah, had a lot of problems. But again, surprise! Nobody shows up. Round three, opponent actually did show up this time. And again, she had issues with Gigi. She had to 3-tap a crew team. She had to 2-tap a Karth team, but she still managed to stuck it out through the end. And her opponent just had issues against her JKR, her crew, her bugs. Lots of her defense left standing. So excellent job. 3-0 for Kate.
Ah, the queen of the no-shows.
I know. Tell me about it.
JKW, a nice comfortable triple from Jake this week. Didn't get the crown or the whammy because of round 2, but still a triple is a triple.
On to Geek Girl. Round 1 had some issues. Unfortunately, she could not get past the Executrix after 3 attempts. Had issues with Shock T after 3 attempts. And her opponent just kind of rolled over. Round 2, she got the full clear 1-shot. And her opponent had some issues going against her Karth and her bears. And round 3, again, not got the full clear. She did have to 2-tap the bugs team, but her opponent just did not do well at all, having issues with her Shock T, her crew, and her Newt, and preventing a full clear. 2-1 for Geek Girl.
And there is Division 2. Lil Gate is in red because we didn't have any data and we didn't get a report, so we really have absolutely no idea what Lil Gator did last week. But Bomber and Fortmore going strong at the top there. I mean, there's no one even close to them. No one is even remotely close to them. They are absolutely flying at the top of Division 2. And yeah, I don't see anybody getting close to them, really. Do you?
No, not at all. But then you look at Boma and Fortmore, and you see this almost 6,000 banner difference between the two.
The fight for Div 2 is on with them if Fortmore can keep a grip on his GP, because he is still sitting at 4.472 mil GP. Dude's got 28k left. So, yeah. Is he going to scrape by and hold on for the Division 2 title? Who knows?
Who knows?
Neil,
I think we've got a break coming up.
Yes, we do.
And not to mention, not just a break, but also we get to highlight more specifically, Paul Anthony and the Noob get to highlight our a couple of our select patrons who are part of our Patreon board. And as a reminder, Paul also mentioned this as well. If you have the Kyber Combatant role in on Patreon, then you have access to this board. Check out the Patreon for more info. Paul will tell you about it as well in the break. Guys, we'll see you on the other side.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Patreon Leaderboard, brought to you by the Escape Podcast Patreon supporters. Are you not a streamer yet, but would love to see your name up here on GACenter? Join up at the Kyber Combatant level and let us know you would like to be featured here too, and we'll include you in next month's leaderboards. Big Country Mags goes 3-0 this week, but he does not get 3 full clears, so no triple recognition for him, but a 3-0 is going to look good on this month's standings. Bringer of Chaos was so close to what he calls a triple spanky. A triple crown eludes him by 1 loss. He'll have to settle for that triple whammy as he goes 3-0 with 3 full clears. D, as we call them, goes 2-1 this week with a standard run-of-the-mill week. They described this as round 1, a full clear, a weak defense, and some interesting squad combinations. For example, HK-47 lead on droids, Lumi lead on Jedi that included Bastille and Jolie. But in round 2, he got out-strategized and couldn't get past a Galactic Legend Rey. He took a big loss. But in round 3, he played it smart, held for more offense, and won an efficiency battle by 30 banners or so. Dr. Jojo doubles up on his battle losses from last week. He explains it as such. In round 1, he faced his hardest competitor he's ever faced yet. They had great mods. The roster was very efficient at 5.2 million. Despite not having a Galactic Legend themselves, they cleared both Galactic Legends. They used JKL on Slacker and Vader on Rey. They went on to clear his entire board. Meanwhile, Dr. JoJo messed up versus his opponent's General Grievous team, which led to a spiral of 8 battles against it. 3 versus JTR, 2 versus Night Sisters, and by the time he got back, he ended up seeing a Darth, Revan, Malak, and CLS in the back row. He was spent. The next 2 rounds were a breeze, though, that included 5 solos, a 2 versus 5 in round 2 for a crazy high 21-45, and they couldn't clear his Rey, and then he focused on the feats in round 3, and his opponent couldn't clear his Slacker. For Strong 1 is next up. He stumbled a bit this week, and he wrote this. Round 1 was pretty run-of-the-mill, but he got caught up by one of their fleet and couldn't sew it up. Round 2, the damn game froze and crashed during the opening volley of a gas mirror match, and it just fell apart from there. And in round 3, he blamed some bad RNG, but was able to scratch out and claw his way to the win. He pulls a Paul Anthony special and posts a 1 and 2 for the week. Leonard McFacepunch also goes 1 and 2 for the week, foregoing fleets in some battles. An impressive 11 holds, but a 1 and 2 will hit the record books for him. And last but not least, Schnarman pulls a 2 and 1, scoring higher than he did last week when he went 3 and 0. And he didn't drop any battles. You'd think he'd be in line for a triple crown, but no, he was cleared more efficiently and therefore took 1 loss this week. Let's now see where everybody is for the month. We have a 4-way record tie at the top with Bringer, Dr. JoJo, Big Country Max, and Schnarman all posting 5 and 1 so far. 4 Strong and D not far behind at 4 and 2, and Lenny, the evil genius, looking to see if he can match me. That's what happens when you have a roster built for territory battles like I do. Well, that does it for us this week. Now back to the Nev and Flair as they cover all of the competitors in our Division 1 boards. Take it away, boys.
Welcome back. Yes, Flair, wake up.
I'm awake.
You're awake,
I'm
are
here.
you? Okay. So it's big boy time.
It's big boy time.
Segment 2 is big boy time. It's Div 1 time. That's the freshman, the standard, and the elites.
There are so many people in this.
So many competitors in Division 1. So many. So let's get on with them.
Absolutely.
So we start off with Wrangler. Back to 3 and 0 for our resident space cowboy. Very close to a triple crown this week by a single loss. But another whammy in the column won't be shirked at. A full clear in round 1 by 7 banners got him off to a great start, followed up by a massive win in round 2, getting a 2 territory hold. Another win in round 3 with another 2 territory hold. Sealed the deal. And the triple whammy.
Wiggins Bog going 1 and 2. He got kind of slapped this week. Round 1 was a full clear 1 shot, and his opponent just didn't full clear. Didn't even attempt the remaining bits of his defense. Round 2, Wiggs had to double tap the negotiator, and unfortunately, couldn't beat negotiator after those 2 attempts, so he couldn't clear the fleet node and got full clear 1 shots. And had the same issue occur on round 3, could not clear the negotiator, and he only managed to get a single hold on his defense. So it just wasn't enough to make the difference. So unfortunately, a 1 and 2 for Wiggs.
Whatever. 3 and 0, triple crown. Great start for my ANZGC amigo, who picked up a flawless victory in round 1 and had a juicy hold on his Empire fleet. Another flawless victory was on the books in round 2, as again the defense picked up some holds and his opponent failed to get past his fleet zone. The triple crown was achieved with more of the same. An opponent with a slacker but inferior mods fell to whatever, and again his opponent failed on fleet. 3-0 triple crown for whatever.
So, can we Besides the fact that you had a bug that kept you from being able to actually play this week on your main account, the statistical probability of the next 3 accounts that we cover, including yours, all not playing this week, one of us should be going to play the lottery right now.
Yeah.
But so you had a issue, you had a bug with GAC. You locked in, but GG apparently said
doesn't register.
Screw you're going back home.
Basically, you hit the join button. The in-game says that you've hit the join, so the button goes transparent. But then when you log off and log back in again, because it hasn't sent it to the server, it will say join. Now, if you don't log in and check again to hit the join to make sure, you're screwed. And I didn't double check. So, yeah, I was screwed like at least 2 other people this week.
Speaking of other people,
exactly the same thing happened to Spartan. And the exact same thing happened to Mr. Gigabachi. So 3 of us. All 3 of us. Yeah. And the thing is, we know, I mean, Spartan has failed to join before. But on those occasions, he's actually come out and said, yeah, I forgot. This wasn't one of those occasions. So,
and Gigabachi,
it sucks even
more.
more.
Belly to belly brother.
Yeah, it sucks even more when, if you forget to join, you're kind of like, oh, idiot. But when you know you've joined and you've been bugged out, that's when it really, really sucks.
And I'm seeing chat just briefly, and we go a triple crown of no sign-ins.
Yeah, rip times 3, basically. So anyway, we'll move on. Rand B's nightmare continues as he picked up another 1 and 2. He wasn't liking it in Div 2 and is really, really not liking it in Div 1. A mixture of fails in both fleet and character being his downfall. A new strategy and maybe some sacrifices to the RNG gods might help his current plight, but whatever he's doing right now ain't working. Another 1 and 2 for Ramby this week.
Biscuit brought out a can of boom sauce because, he had no issues this week whatsoever. Round 1, his opponent could only kill his Rolo Rebel team and his Jedi Knight Luke team. Round 2, opponent couldn't clear all the ground troops or couldn't get past the Rebel fleet that he has. And round 3 again, the Rebel fleet, home 1 with Rebels just completely stopped a full clear. So 3-0 triple crown for Biswees.
Bitcoin 3-0. The man who's only lost to his girlfriend all season. Round 1 was a bit of a sucker punch as his opponent set 1 squad on defense, so Bitcoin wasn't able to get any feats. Round 2 was against a double GL, so both went heavy D. Neither cleared, but Bitcoin got more territory holds than his opponent and picked up the win. Round 3 was against a former ranked 20 Kyber player who had defeated his girlfriend previously. He won by 9 banners and got revenge for his, I'm sure, very grateful girlfriend. 3-0 for Bitcoin.
Yeti this week going 3-0. Also a triple crown, I believe. Yeah.
No, not a triple crown. Not with 21.
No. He couldn't get the full clear. No. I was like, what? Okay, yeah.
Just a triple. Just a regular triple.
All right. So round 1, opponent was pretty good. About 1 million GP on him, but auto set the defense. Yeti was fully stocked and loaded for his defense, and after this, he just went and kind of played. Didn't get the full clear, unfortunately, but Yeti kind of just won because auto set defense. Round 2, a GL Kylo account with about 900k or so GP on him, solid everywhere, heavy defense, including Kylo, and attacks around the opposition's Galactic Legends. He's not about to let someone pull a Yeti on himself, so he did what he does best, namely setting a defense that would challenge his offense, and smashed what his opponent left for him to hit with a solid win there. And then round 3, again, about 900k advantage on his opponents, who usually sets Kylo, but sometimes pulls Kylo for offense. Yeti set his Kylo in a defense that wouldn't be beatable by the teams he brings on offense. He would need to attack with everything to clear Yeti. His opponent didn't. And not only that, but he also took his Kylo in offense and tried to do that mirror match, and it did not work. And he smoked his defense for the highest score total that Yeti has gotten ever, and radiated smugness and sealing the win. So 3-0 for Yeti.
And there is the freshman Division 1. I can't believe I'm still in 5th. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy that I only dropped down, so I can still finish 2nd. I've got a lot of banners to catch up, but I can still finish. 2nd is still doable for me. 2nd is still doable for me. There's no way I'm catching Bitcoin, but I'm confident I can pull back against whatever and Yeti. I just need like triple whammies and triples and triple crowns for the rest of the season and hope that they drop 1 or 2 rounds here and there, you know.
You've got some work to do.
I have some serious work to do. So, you know, both me and Jigabachi do. I mean, Spartan's not going to do a massive amount of climbing. So, but yeah, no, I have a lot of work to do, and I'm really, really annoyed about my banner total being where it is now. Sucks to be me right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to the standard. Ranger danger. Ranger, 2-1. Started off the week great. Absolutely great with a flawless victory. Flawless victories put you on a high. Make you feel like an invincible behemoth. Then came round 2. I'm inclined to believe the fleet on his opponent in round 2 wasn't good. I mean, why else would you dump both your double GLs in front of fleet if your fleet's good? He was scared of the Ranger. The scaredy cat got the win due to getting to Ranger's fleet. Kind of sucks. Ranger rounded off the week, though, in round 3 with a win. So 2-1 for Ranger. Laugh is Cabber, and Cabber is laugh.
Our favorite wrestler, Scorch, having to deal with a tough pill in a 1-2 this week. Round 1, he had to 2-tap the sisters. Bless you. In round 1, yeah, he had to 2-tap the sisters, but his General Grievous held, and his fleet shut down his opponent from clearing completely. Round 2, he just didn't show up and got rolled over. Round 3, both of them got full clear one-shot, but unfortunately, Scorch was out-bannered on efficiency. So a 1-2 for Scorch the Hoss.
Yes, that is not a typo. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not a typo. Paul lost 225 times this week. Now, in round 1, Paul got stomped by a GG team, and he decided to throw the kitchen sink, pipes and all, at this team. To no avail. In round 2, Paul got stomped by a slacker team and decided to go for the loss record currently held by Thaddeus. So, yeah, he started clocking up the losses there. In round 3, he wanted a title so bad, he and his opponent agreed to weak sauce one team so he could go for it. And he got it. He got his Master of Ceremony title. So, title achieved. The real battle began. Coming from behind, he multi-tapped Slacker and Padme, his bogey team, for the victory, thus stopping the Wooden Spoon Award for the week and getting a very, very hefty loss score. 1-2 for Paul.
Can I just... only thing I have to say about that is just, wow.
Yeah. Take that, Thad.
Wow. Mudbum, 0 for 3. He starts off by just saying, oof. And so he has marked what has all occurred on rounds 1 through 3. On rounds 1 through 3, he full cleared all of his opponents. On rounds 1 through 3, he failed on something stupid like, Slacker solo versus GG, JTR versus the First Order, Vader versus Rey. On all 3 rounds, his opponents were incredibly efficient, smashing through his defense. On rounds 1 through 3, there wasn't enough beer in the fridge to drown out the sorrow. And in rounds 1 through 3, At least his opponents were nice. And overall, he can't find any similarities which have led him to his demise. 0 for 3, Bun Bum.
Okay, that's no moon. He's not going to like this. 2-1. He likes his triples, but he didn't get one this week. Had an interesting auto defense in round 1 with some nasty teams, but he did prevail and he got the full clear. Round 2 was not an auto defense, but he got some valuable holds with Kylo and he did one-shot his opponent. Round 3 was the loss, though, unfortunately, as he got stuck behind a GG. He's very much looking forward to future GACs, though, as his slacker will have his ultimate from now on.
Fancy. Macias this week going 1 and 2. And all he put, and we'll let him have it, to say that feeling when your real life responsibilities preclude game focus. And I can definitely see there's a lot of people this week that either had the issues with the bugs, or real life just got in the way, and that's completely fine and acceptable, and we'll take it from there. 1 and 2 for Macias.
It's just Ian. Oh, a 2-1. He could have picked up a triple this week. He could have, but he fell to a 2-1. I mean, it looks, for all intents purposes, like he fell to overconfidence in round 2. I mean, rounds 1 and rounds 3 were solid victories. But in round 2, he tried to undersize a negotiator fleet with a MILF fleet, and he got mollywopped in 47 seconds. I mean, he only lost the round by 2 banners, but damn, you know? Ugh. Anyway, 2-1 for It's Just Ian.
Get your pickles out. It's Finn. Grid? Why's Grid here? What?
Because it's Grid.
Is it Grid? I
Yeah.
thought it was Finn.
No,
I had RNG Mike. Why do I have Grid here?
because it's Grid.
It is Grid, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've gotta pull up Grid's info. Holy crap. Okay. Give me 5 seconds. Not even
1,
5 seconds. Like
2,
now.
3, 4, 5. Go.
It's Grid time. Okay, round 1, full clear, 1 shot, no issues. His opponent struggled hardcore against Newts. Round 2, full clear, 1 shot, absolutely no issues. His opponent being inefficient by 6 banners. Round 3, he loses, having to deal with JTR, no, not JTR, Finn Resistance and JKL team. And on defense, his opponent just did much better than him. 2-1 Grid. Was that? I feel like I scrapped that up well enough.
Yeah, no, you did. You rescued it very, very well. Okay. Going nerdy. It's Thad's turn. It was a dark time for Thad. The defenses couldn't hold. Wave after wave of his enemies bombarded him. Women and murder bears were slaughtered with indifference. But just when all hope seemed lost, a light in the darkness began to shine. Dim at first, but soon his troops rallied. His defenses found their mettle, and for blood and glory, his offense dominated their lines and won the day. Ultimately, this week's score was 1 and 2. Glory be to the Force. Now it's Fruit Ninja Mike's go.
It's Fruit Ninja Mike, not Finn. I had for some reason had Finn before Grid. Anyways, Fruit Ninja Mike 3-0. Some wild rides this week. Round 1 was a former Wolfpack member with great mods, but they failed to clear his bad boy zone of Darth Revan, Gas, and Slacker. 1 shot everything for an easy win. Round 2 was against a mediocre opponent. Easy win. Enough said. Round 3, per usual, had some shenanigans. He failed Vader versus Rey, and he tried to trooper a CLS team. 1 shot the rest, but left the door open. Opponent 1 shot his good stuff, but failed once on crew and twice on fleets. Scraped by for 3-0.
End all be all, the master of defense did not disappoint this week. doing his usual full clear in round 1 and stopping his opponent doing the same. Round 2 was against a suspected APK hacker, so Endor called him out on Discord. The guy got spooked and had to play straight, having been put on notice. But he'll be watched, and his account was reported. Oh, he lost. And Endor won, despite a full clear. Round 3, back to normal for Endor, as he picked up the full clear, and his Ray and Malevolence did the job of holding his opponent. 3-0 triple whammy for Endor be all.
Okay, now I can actually say.
Yeah, now you can do Finn.
Now we can get the pickles out, because Finn, round 1, full clear one shot. His opponent did not show up at all. Round 2, he had to 4-tap a General Grievous, and the opponent just didn't even touch his fleet. Round 3, he had to 3-tap CLS, and his opponent stopped with only 4 wins after 4 battle wins after losing to crew. I guess he just didn't finish, but Finn doesn't care because he's taken the 3-0 this week.
DPK. Another 1 and 2 for DPK. Lost round 1 due to some absent-mindedness. He lost round 1 and he forgot. Round 2 faced a non-GL opponent who plays the offense game badly. So DPK won on efficiency despite losing to a Padme team. Round 3 was a crap storm. Losing not because of a better opponent, but because of the no button bug. Ugh. Not once, but twice. So he threw in the towel after it happened that second time. 1 and 2 for DPK.
Let's make sure who I've got next here. It's DB official. Good. All right. Round 1 was a no-show. DB did not show up to play, and he got rolled. Cleared. Nope. His opponent didn't think much about it. Round 2, he came back and full clear one shot. His opponent did 3 squad battles and the fleet, and that was it. And round 3, I don't know what else to say besides he didn't show up. So he didn't show up. 1 and 2 for DB.
Cubs Van Han, 2 and 1 for the week. Actually faced off against a viewer in round 1. Full cleared him, dropping only 2 matches to set Cubs a target of 2052 for the win. But his opponent set a very tough D that Cubs just could not get past. So ultimately he lost round 1. Round 2 was much better for Cubs, knowing his defense had held firm and that a full clear was enough. Cubs got the full clear and only took 2 losses. Round 3, and Cubs finished the week with the Grayson style of a catwalk model, one-shotting his opponent to pick up a sweet flawless victory. 2 and 1 for Cubs Van Han.
The grace of a catwalk walker. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Onto Black Mamba. Black Mamba. Round 1 had to 2-tap a slacker, 2-tap a crew, but his opponent didn't show up, so that didn't matter. Round 2 got the full clear one shot. His General Grievous took 2 to fall. Sisters took 2. CLS stood after 3, and they stopped after 1 attempt on the bugs. They must not have had enough in the tank to clear after losing everything else. Round 3 again, another full clear one shot. And his bugs held for a stupid 7 battles. General Grievous for 3 and CLS for 2. So a 3-0 for Black Mamba.
Black Mamba. There's Division 1 bottom. It's just Ian is the top of the bottom. It's not Ando. That looks weird. I'm just so used to seeing Ando at the top of the bottom of something. And Rambam at the bottom of the top of something. So, yeah. But, hey, the losses there. Scorch, Paul, DPK not doing well. Holding up the bottom of the table. Going nerdy. has finally been surpassed for losses. Paul into the lead with 432.
28 battles difference.
How'd you like them apples, Thaddeus? How do you like them apples?
Hey, Thad, I'm not saying you probably want to throw some battles, but throw some battles.
Okay, let's move on to the top of Standard Division 1. And there it is. Brute Ninja Mike at the top. End all be all snapping at his heels. Infinity snapping at his heels. I mean, there's only one round there. Infinity, all it takes is for a chink in the End all be all defense to let Finity in there. Finity ties with Endall, and it all goes Pete Tong for Endall. But yeah, we've got a nice little chasing pack there. Lots of people in the 30s, but let's be honest, it's those three at the top that are going to be running away with it for the rest of the year, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to the big, big, big boys. It's the Elite Division 1. And we start off with Zareth Prevails 3-0, triple whammy. Great start in round 1 with the standard FU defense. Had to double tap the Ray team, but the FU did its job and stopped his opponent getting the full clear. Didn't use the FU defense in round 2 and could have paid for it if his opponent was better at fleet. But he wasn't. So Zareth got the win and the full clear in round 2. Round 3 was FU on steroids. And were it not for an inefficient full clear from his opponent, it could have gone the other way. Thankfully, it didn't. 3-0, triple whammy for Zareth Prevails.
And if you would like to hear more about how this week went for him, stay tuned for the break. On to solo base. 2-1 in his last 2 GLGAC ever. Meaning, yes, he's jumping up to the 3 to having 3 of those crazy people. Anyways, round 1 up against a shard mate, but didn't take it easy. Got multiple defensive holds while easily clearing in one shot. Round 2 was up against a guy that's only been full cleared once in the last 13 matches coming into the fight. He got the full clear, but it cost too many banners, and Solo had to take an L on that one. Round 3 up against someone who plays consistently, the same defenses every time. I know the feeling. Took the same amount of teams needed to clear him. Took the exact amount of teams needed to clear him, and then said everything else on defense. Full cleared in one shot, and his opponent could only clear one zone. 2-1 for solo base.
Rambam, 2-1 for the week. Easy win in round 1 for Rambam, as his opponent failed on his slacker. Couldn't get past him. Easy win. Round 2 was much tougher than round 1, but he picked up a well-deserved win after beating a double GL defense. So, yeah, well earned. So he's 2-0. Round 3 was cursed for Rambam, as the RNG Gods ignored all of his earlier sacrifices in the week. His Vader counter failed, causing a domino effect, as the loss cost him the full clear, and the full clear cost him the win. Damn you, RNG. 2-1 for Ambram.
Mandy coming in with a 2-1 as well. Round 1, he had a 2-tap slacker, 2-tap JTR, and but his slacker prevented his opponent from getting a full clear. Round 2, again, same story, 2-tap slacker, 2-tap JTR, but he also had to 2-tap the executrix. Had to put a little spice on there, right? His opponent 3-tapped his slacker and 2-tapped the Shakti clones, but the difference in the number, the different individual battles that he had to drop against gave him a banner efficiency over Mandalore, so he lost there. Round 3, both of them full clear one-shots, and Mandy was more efficient by 16 banners, and he's taking that and he's running home with it for a 2-1 this week.
Lazy Turtle, and again, not a typo. A 3-0 triple whammy for Lazy Turtle. Big week for Lazy this week.
Wow!
As he picked up his first triple in a very, very long time. Round one was a bit of a bye. He did get a bit of a bye. His opponent didn't attack. So good start to the week. Easy win. Round two wasn't that high a score, but it didn't matter, as Papa Palpatine did the business and got the hold. Round three was a runaway victory, getting the full clear and sitting back to watch his opponent fail on Rey, then on GG, then on Darth Revan, and finally failing on a fleet. Well done, Lazy Turtle, on the triple whammy.
Next, we have Klesso, and round one is crazy. You've had this situation before, Neil, where you lose a battle, and despite the fact that you lost the battle and your opponent lost less than you, like full cleared you, Klesso still won in round one by a single banner.
Yeah, it is possible. Takes a lot of solos, but it is very possible.
So Klesso had lost on the fleet, but his opponent full cleared him, and Klesso just clawed back with a single banner win there. Round two, had a very pretty standard full clear one shot, no issues at all for him. And his opponent just struggled against his Rey and his Slacker. And then the heartbreak comes in round three, where he had to what is this? He had to two tap both home one and the Chimera, and his opponent was 5 banners more efficient, even though he had to two tap Slacker, gas. Two tap Slacker and 3 tap. No, not 3 tap. Had to 7 tap gas. Yeah. Wow. 5 banners efficiency. Jeez. So a 2-1 for Klesso this week.
Jake Johnson. It's JJ. 2-1. Good week for Jake, who picked up a tidy 2-1 this week. Nothing to write home about. Full clear in round one. Picked up a flawless victory in round two, but round three, he really let himself down a bit with a couple of, quite honestly, unnecessary risks against teams he usually beat, and the banner loss cost him, and the round, and the triple. So unfortunately, a 2-1 for JJ.
Indigo had it kind of rough this week, going 1-2. Round one was no problem. Full clear one shot, had no problems whatsoever. His opponent struggling against his Slacker and just unable to take him down. Round two, things just started kind of going sideways. Unfortunately, after 3 attempts, could not clear his opponent's negotiator, and his opponent just kind of came in with a full, not a full clear one shot, but was still able to get a full clear, giving him the banners to beat Indigo there. And round three, just struggled against Newt for 6 attempts. Also had to 2-tap the sisters, as well as 2-tap JKL team. And again, his opponent just kind of coming in, even though losing 9 times against General Grievous, still having enough banners to beat Indigo. So very rough week for Indigo. Hopefully he'll come back.
Heinze, do not let the results fool you. Do not let this 1 and 2 fool you, because the Aussie Adonis improvement train is at full steam right now. Now, he lost round 1 by 1 stinking banner, thanks to a timeout on a Kieran Nest team. I mean, oh yeah. Round 2, flawless victory. A glorious, flawless victory. Very, very well earned. And round 3 was only lost because of some bad RNG and a loss in 1 battle. I mean, he is definitely one of the most improved competitors in this division. And on the cusp of greatness, maybe. Maybe even some 3-0s. Who knows? 1 and 2 this week.
How many GLs does he have now?
Huh?
How many GLs does he have now?
Pretty sure he's got 4.
God.
Pretty sure he's got 4. If not 3 at least.
I don't even want to think about that. On to Dylar, 2-1 again. Round 1 was a win. His opponent set a fairly light defense, which got easily full cleared 1 shot. And his opponent stumbled against CLS Chupio team and then crumbled from there. Round 2, again, another win. A tough opponent with a 554 speed build slacker. This was a nerve-wracking battle. Otherwise, it was a full clear one-shot. Opponent dropped one battle against his JTR, and that was enough for him to win by banners. Round 3 was the loss. Opponent set a tough defense. His gas failed miserably against his CLS Chupio, and he didn't manage to even unlock the ships. Since his Ray Malik was set on the bottom, his opponent was able to skip it all together and rack up enough points up top for the win by banners. So 2-1 for Dylar.
The Grand Admiral with a 3-0 triple whammy. The Empire crushed its enemies this week and showed the type of grit and determination you expect to see from a well-oiled military machine. In round 1, the Grand Admiral crushed his enemies emphatically, brushing them aside with one shot for a bone-crushing, flawless victory. In round 2, the Grand Admiral had to dig deep, real deep, as he suffered defeat after defeat against GLs. Like a true military leader, though, he kept ordering squad after squad to lay down their lives in service to the Empire, and saw victory against the GLs after 5 attempts. All that was left was round 3. And he squashed them like a bug, and scored a flawless victory. 3-0, triple whammy for Grand Admiral Arnold.
And rounding out today's coverage is Ando, going 2-1. Round 1 was the loss. His toughest match of the week went against Fatal from the playbook. Good match. He deviated a little from his latest philosophy, which is having a difficult defense and keeping only what he needs for offense. And he went heavy offense. But thinks that kind of put him in a predicament of just good at everything, but great at none kind of situation. Jack of all trades, master of none. A few regrets, but like he always says, he's never mad at losing to a good opponent. And rounds 2 and 3, he goes, not matched against Fatal, so his opponent didn't full clear. And round 3 was again not matched against Fatal, so his opponent didn't full clear. So 2-1 for Ando.
And there is Elite Division 1. Klesso is at the top, but Zareth is snapping at his heels. Klesso is going to wish he had not lost that round. He is going to wish he didn't lose that round. But, oh, look how close they are in banners, man. I mean, that's just nuts.
Less than 200.
That is nuts.
Wow.
It is so close. Oh, so Solo's going to be, oh, Solo, dude, seriously. Oh, you're going to be kicking yourself at that loss, mate. Seriously, kicking yourself at that loss. But look who's sneaking up there. Arnold, up into 4th.
That's an Arnold. What?
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, if he keeps crushing his enemies like he's doing at the moment, he is definitely going to be there or abouts when it comes time for Premier League integration at the end of the season. At the moment, I think he is just outside. He may creep into it, though. I think the bottom end is 33 at the moment. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Starting at the end of this month, we will start throwing up a kind of what if the league ended now table, just to show who the statistically 10 best players are in Division 1. Because it will be those 10 people that get really, really highlighted in the Premier League when we start Season 2 of GACenter.
And I feel like we have to make note of this every week, because they'll always ask about it. Ram Bam is still on top of Ando.
Yeah, Ram Bam is still above Ando. But only by banner difference. Ram Bam had a 2-round lead on Ando, and he blew it.
I know.
He blew it so hard. You know? Plow jobs abound. Anyway, we're good. We're done. We've gone over the leagues. It's time for an interview. Who's our interview with?
Our interview this week, as I mentioned earlier, is with Zareth, the other half of the Gambit podcast. And just had a wonderful conversation with him today about how his week went, and also just kind of his thoughts on kind of how things are changing with the fact that we now have 2 more GLs in the mix. So, guys, on the other side of this, we will be in our interview with Zareth. Stick around after that. We'll have our thoughts and acknowledgements.
Are you a member of Team Paul or Team Neil? Maybe you prefer story time with the llama, or dabble in the buttery side of the force with Biscuit Weasel. Or maybe you like the escape pod talents from Down Under like Heinzie and Scotty. No matter who you support, you can get one of my designs from the Escape Podcast merch store. Just go to escapepodcastaways.com, click on the merch link, and it will take you to the TeePublic site where you can support me, Mrs. Anthony, also known as Critty K. Also be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast's Discord server weekly to vote for my latest shirts in the Design Derby on Woot. Links for both of these are down below. Thank you for supporting the Escape Podcast.
Does your guild want to tap into their full potential in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? Yeah! For as low as $1 a month per guild member, your guild can unleash the power of the game in ways you never thought possible. Ooh. Track your arena movements, guild progression, and much, much more. Contact Shitty Bill and get one of his shitty bots on your server today. Just look for him on our Discord server and tag or message him for more information. The link for our server is below in the description. Shitty bots, don't let the name fool you.
SWGOH.GG is your one-stop site for the raw data behind the game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. From complete gear lists to intuitive stats behind all of your favorite holotable heroes. SWGOH.GG has it all. With a .GG account, you can get a complete view of your own roster, see how you match up against other players, and even check out the history of your own Grand Arena Championship matches. You can also see what your opponent used on you to give you a better understanding of counters and team compositions to improve your gameplay. Did you know that they also have some great Patreon features as well? Ad-free browsing of their site, guild information, and manual information requests are included in their 3 levels of Patreon support. Check out the site for more details. That's SWGOH.GG. Unleash your holotable potential today.
And welcome back to the show, everybody. Yes, I am wearing a beanie. It's time for the interview. And we've had many, many people from the Gambit crew, but we've never had the other half of the Gambit podcast crew. So we thought we'd get him on today because he had a very, very good week. So I give you everybody, Zareth Prevails.
How you doing, Zareth?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Great. All right. So,
Okay.
Zareth, first off, you had a really good week. You went 3-0. So let's kind of go through that just a little bit. We kind of do it with a lot of people. Overall, how was your opinion of this week?
This week was good though. But I won all 3 of my matches. There were a couple struggles though.
Yes, there was a struggle. I'm curious. Now, we all know because we report it every single week. You have a very, very, well, not rigid, but you have a set defense that you affectionately refer to as your FU defense, which is both your slackers and your basically, all the nasty stuff, hence the FU. Now, in round 2, you did not put your FU defense on. And I am very, very curious, and I'm sure there are other people out there very, very curious as to why you did not lay your FU defense in round 2. What was so, I don't know, what was so concerning about your opponent in round 2 that forced you to go more offensive?
Here's the thing. I like to be one of those guys who I place a really strong defense. Then, I have multiple paths to victory that way. Win conditions are, if I can full clear more efficiently than them, great. Or, if I mess up, The other win condition being if they mess up as well. Like if I put a strong enough defense down, I don't necessarily have to play perfectly. I can also hopefully trip them up. Now, the issue with this match in particular was they've been playing a pretty tricky like Darth Revan squad or Supreme Leader Kylo with either Darth Revan or the Night Sister, duo of Daka and Zombie, one of those. And I just wasn't sure what exactly I should do against it. I've taken out a lot of the Darth Revan versions of Supreme Leader Kylo, like Supreme Leader Kylo with Darth Revan and Zombie and Daka. And I even had some videos available. I wanted to try Commander Luke against it, and I couldn't find anyone who would help me test, and I didn't have enough time to test it, frankly. So I suffered a lapse of judgment, and I kept one of my Galactic Legends for offense, and I almost paid the price for it, though, because there's a pretty big hole in my defenses, and I didn't really replace it with anything great. My opponent really made the most of it. He was a really efficient attacker, so I wouldn't say that that's a standard move of mine. I do, though. There is value in being able to have a little bit of that flexibility in your defenses. I try to change my defenses at least a little bit in between rounds, just so people don't know for sure what they're facing. But this is a pretty big deviation from the overall strategy.
So how close was that round?
Perfect.
How close was that round as a result of not putting your GLs on defense?
Well, I'll tell you what, he was really efficient. He used Ray super efficiently. Like he was able to one-shot a few of all of my teams all the way up to my fleets. Like, and he was really efficient at it too, because he had the teams. I looked at it at the GA history actually, and just a few hours ago, and it was really impressive. Like the things he was able to pull off. My defense wasn't easy exactly. It wasn't exactly FU, but it was still pretty strong. Like he used a lot of really good teams. So in the end, it came down to fleets, and he had I had my two fleets on there. I had Negotiator and an Empire fleet with Tarkin. And so I was like, okay, he needs 64 and 64 to tie me. And I don't remember who would win the tiebreaker, but I was like, I'm pretty sure Negotiator's just going to win it right off the bat. And he went in and got 64 on my Negotiator. And of course, I was like, man, my Empire fleet is way weaker than that. And he has Malevolence available. Looking at the GAC history, though, I mean, he still needed a 64. So what he did, he only took the initial three. He took Vulture, Hyena, and Sunfac, and then no reinforcements, which honestly, I'm comfortable doing that against a lot of different fleet comps with Malevolence, because they're self-perpetuating. Like they continue to spawn new ships and stuff. Like I rarely use reinforcements with that fleet, but I don't know exactly how it happened, but my Empire fleet actually just gave it the drubbing it deserved and destroyed the Separatists, and I got a hold. So I don't know.
Take it, man. Take it.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna complain. I was pretty stressed out though. I was like, man, he's gonna get 64 so easy on me.
Yeah, well, the burn would have helped, because obviously the cleanse function from Malevolence wouldn't have worked, because the burn from the TIE Bomber can't be cleansed. So that definitely would have helped.
Absolutely. I think I'm guessing that my opponent just I don't know how many people have experience facing that TIE Bomber, frankly. It's new enough and people are still farming it. And then it's still not the best fleet out of all of them. It's not the second best fleet. So usually, like up until we started hitting that double fleet zone, people only saw like 3 different fleets maybe. Every once in a while, you're like, why did that weirdo take Holdo? Take Radis. But otherwise, like sometimes you see Rebel fleets on defense, because if they're fast enough, if Biston is fast enough, like they can just take out like any fleet if you're not careful. But then, so that's the one variation. And then otherwise people would either place Negotiator or Malevolence. And so I don't think that I've ever faced TIE Bomber until this week, actually. And it was only like a 5-star TIE Bomber. And I did some pretty dumb things about it. Like it was pretty irresponsible of me. Like I took Rebels against it, but I was able to take it out just fast enough. So, I'm guessing my opponent just out of inexperience is like, oh yeah, I'll just take this fleet out, no problem.
Sure, this will work. Oh, this didn't work.
Yeah, I immediately regret my decision.
Okay, so we've kind of talked about kind of how that round went. I think out of in terms of your offense and everything, was there any kind of particular team or particular matchup that was kind of a highlight for you? It was kind of like, ooh, this was great. Like this worked exactly the way I needed it to.
Gosh, I don't know. So this is kind of strange. So here's the one thing that I do that a lot of people like they say they're pulling a Zareth, and I take that as a mark of honor actually, because I use bounty hunters to counter Darth Revan teams a lot of times. And you know, you have to meet certain conditions, like Bastila Shan Fallen can't be in there or it doesn't work. So already right there, like you know, you're missing a key piece of that team. So you know, when you're facing that like full bastard Darth Revan team is kind of what I call it, like the, you know, the full trio, the, you know, the hardest version of Darth Revan. When you're facing that, like bounty hunters aren't that much help. So what I was trying to do in this match was, I was like, okay, so I put way too much. I overcompensated on defense in the next match, in the finals match. And I put like General Skywalker down and Darth Revan and both Galactic Legends and Padme and Jedi Training Rey with the Hero Bros and Geos. Like it was a crazy defense. And so he put his full blaster Darth Revan team down, and I'm like, okay, I have Commander Luke. That's my plan. I'm going to use Commander Luke with my Relic 5 Chupio. I'm going to just blow him away because I've seen all these videos doing it. And so, you know, I talked to my friend who's like a Commander Luke team like expert. He knows all the things. And my Commander Luke team went in there, and I needed to kill Bastila on my first volley. He said, no problem, that'll happen for sure. And I think Bastila was left with about like 100 hit points total, but she's lived. And then I didn't get a single turn, and Commander Luke died. Like the whole team just got obliterated. And so that wasn't awesome. But the thing that was awesome, and that's like almost the opposite of what you were asking, of like what team worked exactly the way it was planned. However, Bastila Shan still hadn't recovered much of her health and protection. So I took bounty hunters in after thinking about like, okay, what was the last few turns? And essentially like Darth Revan was still on cooldown for all of his good moves. Bastila was on cooldown for all of his good her good moves. So I took in the boss bounty hunters. Managed to just get a quick kill on Bastila, and then after that, you're golden. Like you can just get a quick win against that team, even if Malak has high tenacity. It's no problem because of all those stacks of ferocity. It's constantly healing the team.
Oh, okay,
through
yeah.
the boss bleed, like it because it's a debuff that's generated, and I'm not generating it, but it's generated. So for every stack of it, it's 5% health and protection on the entire bounty hunter squad through boss bleed.
They're just getting juiced up as you go.
Yeah, so like as the Sith are going, you're just like, wow, I'm surviving. Like maybe we'll time out together, but like I'm not gonna die. So I mean, they eventually get there if you can't finish it. But you know, my bounty hunters, I have most of them relics, so I threw them in there, killed Bastila right away, and then it was good. I cruised to 40, and it was nice. It feels good to get a kill on Darth Revan with bounty hunters. Feels like cheating almost.
I mean, the team that it feels, I don't know, like where I am right now, just kind of like I see boss bounty hunters, I'm like, I'll just throw CLS against this and just kill it. And it's like, oh wait, no, this thing's killing Darth Revan. Okay.
Right.
So, Neil, before I kind of ask the last few questions, anything you want to add in?
No. Go ahead, mate.
All right. So Zareth, obviously we are getting ready to begin the third week, and since last week there has been the inclusion of 2 new Galactic Legends. So kind of we ask people usually what they're working on, but I kind of want to ask you maybe kind of that, but also what your opinions are and how you think this will kind of change how GAC looks. So the inclusion of Emperor Wrinklebags and Grandpappy Luke, as I like to affectionately call them.
Right. Yeah, I like to call him Grump Face Luke. So, you know, about the same. Man, it's gonna be so wild for a little bit. I mean, we don't have all the off meta counters developed yet for these guys. We don't even have like the on meta counters developed for these guys. So it's going to be weird. I do have Grump Face Luke actually up and running before lock. I got him done and hit the lock button. So I'm the guy with 3 Galactic Legends, and all my whole group only has 2, or one of them only has 1. That poor soul. But it's going to be quite the adjustment period, I think. Like, here's the thing, like, I like it. Everyone's kind of embraced the Darth Vader off meta counter. Like, Darth Vader kills Rey, at least most iterations. Sometimes you have to jump through certain hoops. Different team compositions are going to change the way you play it. But the fact is, for that team to work, you need Watt and you need Thrawn, and for a bunch of different team comps, like if you want to use Darth Revan to counter Rey, you need Watt and you need Thrawn, and like all these different team comps, Watt and Thrawn, like we only have one of each of those. Like if we could somehow like get another one, like let me just farm another Thrawn, I totally gear him, or Watt, like I would do it in a heartbeat. I would love to, but as it stands, I don't know if we're going to have enough off meta counters to deal with this. So even guys like me who likes to set the hardest defense possible, I'm going to have to, unless we develop something soon, I'm going to have to start keeping at least one Galactic Legend for offense. Because I think that especially once it settles down and a lot of my opponents start having 4 Galactic Legends, maybe I have 4 as well, like which makes me cringe so hard, honestly. Like it makes me so sad. Like what room in that situation, what room is there for like a Mon Mothma team? Like I just don't know. It makes me sad. But I do think that the new Galactic Legends are going to change the way a lot of even really defensive players play. Like we're going to have to have some rock solid off meta counters, and we're also, it's going to be so inefficient to use mirror matches for these Galactic Legends. Like, if your opponent places 3 and you keep 3, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna mirror match. You're down like 30 points or something. 30 banners. Like that's way too many to really like consistently make up that gap. So we're gonna all have to develop, at least at the higher end, while we're doing all these, the people who have all the Galactic Legends, at least we're all gonna, if you want to be successful, you're gonna have to develop off meta counters that are consistent. And also we're gonna have to develop a reliable and efficient way to counter other Galactic Legends with our own.
And also I think kind of the thought as well is that some of these off meta counters require you to bust up a ton of different teams, and so it's like, what's the most efficient solution you have that also doesn't screw you over on another team or another battle?
Right.
Because 3 Galactic Legends now, it's like, oh god, trying to think of 3 relatively efficient solutions that doesn't screw you over somewhere else.
Well, that was the huge problem for me when I was placing some really crazy defenses, and then Galactic Legends kind of just like put an end to that for a little bit. Because you're right, you have to split up teams, and what I've kind of settled on is like what I'm trying to do anyways is trying to like come up with like a more flexible way of doing things, of like, okay, so I have Shaak Ti on offense, so if I need General Skywalker for one of my off meta counters, then Shaak Ti can step in with the 501st and still do a credible job.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, like if Shaak Ti isn't, or if General Skywalker isn't needed, you can take him with 501st. Shaak Ti can go with, maybe then you can split up your Jedi. You can have Jedi Revan with all the traditional team with Grandmaster Yoda, Jolie, Bastila, etc. And then Jedi Luke can split off, and he can go with Shaak Ti and Hermit Yoda and kind of make their own mini super team, So like having characters that kind of have a few different places that they could potentially be depending on the board, depending on what your opponent's placed. So like for me, just having those flexible characters in their slots to be able to fill in where they're needed, that's been huge for me.
All right, awesome. So we're gonna have to start wrapping up here for a second. So Zareth, number 1, it's been awesome to just kind of to pick your brain a little bit.
Oh yes.
You all are people that kind of spend all the time figuring this stuff out, and sounds like you're working towards a 4th Galactic Legend at some point in the future, and we'll be playing with all those. Really?
I'll of course I'm working. Right now I'm trying to decide whether like what to work on. Like should I keep working on like there's all these side projects I want to do. So yes, Sith the Eternal Emperor will be soonish. Once I get enough Zetas, I'll definitely start working
Okay.
toward him. But
So, Neil, anything else before we let Zareth kind of pimp his stuff?
No, let Zareth pimp his stuff.
All right, Zareth, let everyone know where they can find you, what you're doing, and kind of what's coming around the corner.
Sure. So I do a lot of stuff actually. So I'm on as you guys mentioned before, I'm on the other half of the Gambit podcast that we do every week. Me and my buddy Solo Base 15 do a weekly podcast on Grand Arena. It's fun. We do it live. And other than that, I make YouTube videos quite a bit. Not just Grand Arena stuff. I do Grand Arena mostly, and most of my stuff is actually centered around Grand Arena and that theory. But my YouTube channel, you can find me if you just go to YouTube. You search Zareth, spelled Xaereth, and from there you can find my you'll find my YouTube channel. You'll find a link to my Twitch. I do stream all of my Grand Arena matches on the Gambit. We also have a Gambit Twitch channel that every Friday night we call it Gambit Fight Night. And we always have a guest who comes in and does their Grand Arenas with us. It's a good time, but you can find a link on my YouTube channel for that as well. So in the video description on any of my videos, you can find that. And come hang out with us on Discord. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good theory crafting going on and stuff.
All right. So like I said, Zareth, it's been a pleasure to have you aboard, to have you kind of pick your brain a little bit and see what your thoughts are and all this stuff. Anything else, Neil?
No. Thanks for coming on, Zareth. Much appreciated.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It's been fun.
All right, guys, on the other side of this, we will get to our thoughts and acknowledgments and get towards the end of today's show. So we'll see you all over there.
Just lost with Commander Luke against Revan. I thought I'd killed Dark Bastila. See if we can do it, though. Okay, she got her turn. Revan got his turn. Okay, come on. Let Boba have a turn. Okay. Can do enough. Okay, we can call an assist, though. Okay, thank goodness. Okay, we might actually be able to just win this now. Kill HK. See if we can get a double tap. Nice, okay. Okay, let's see if we can just one-shot Revan here. Got him. Okay. There we go. Got him. All right. I told you it was going to work. 40. Oh, jeez.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that interview. We enjoyed conducting it. It was a lot of fun. You tend to get really interesting and intriguing interviews from theory crafters, and Zareth is definitely one of the best.
Absolutely. Yeah, so as always, this is the part where we do our thoughts and acknowledgments. Over the course of today's episode of GACenter, we did have 2 follows from Kenny G19 and Is Critical, a Starlet Rare. We'll try and pronounce that as best we can, but we also got a Prime sub from Bulldog. So thank you all so much. We are the Escape podcast is well over 700 followers now, and that's exciting.
Climbing.
Absolutely. But yeah, no. So we're another week in. We're at the halfway point of the month.
Yeah, next week's going to be really interesting, especially for the upper echelons of Div 1. 2 new GLs. I mean, we know Heinze's probably going to get both. There's wouldn't surprise me.
Frickers in here now.
There's just
4 of these frickers.
I to be honest with you, I imagine most of those people that already have JKL are probably just gone for GL Luke by default because, they'll have already had it. Anybody that could whale out on Chupio, Mon Mothma, and the Y-Wing, probably 80 to 90% already there. And it really, really wouldn't surprise me if we see a lot more people with GL Luke next week and the week after. So it's definitely going to make things interesting. People with 3 or 4 GLs now. Oh God, yeah. No, next week's going to be very, very, very interesting. And obviously, with the fleets the way they are, it's making things a lot more interesting. People have been working on and building up those fleets. I know I have.
Yeah, I definitely think I don't know. I feel like these last 2 GLs that have come out have been a lot more. Because I've been talking with a couple of people within our little corner of ANZGC, me and Sephironis, one of the people in the podcast community, both we'll probably both go for JML on our accounts, and it's because I look at that, I'm that feels really attainable versus all of the other requirements for me, because I'm I don't want to touch resistance as much as I have to. I don't want to have to touch First Order as much as I have to. I don't really want to touch Empire as much as I have to. So it's okay, in a year or two, whenever I finally decide to work on a Galactic Legends, we'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get there, 6-12 months from now myself. But I'm kind of, I'm gonna stay on target. I'm gonna stay on target, especially with my main account, and work towards getting the off-meta counters for the original 2 Galactic Legends, because as my GP creeps up there, I just know I'm going to come across a Slacker or a GL Ray at some point in the not too distant future, and I just don't want to be underprepared. I want to have those Zareth off-meta counters, so that if I do come across a Slacker, or if I do come across a GL Ray, I'm going to have the necessary equipment in my tool bag to turn them over, because I do not want to end up, doing what Paul and Thaddeus do, which is just, throw in the kitchen sink.
Lock up the count.
Yeah, I don't want to be doing any of that. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's like I said, a few weeks back, really, really interesting times for GAC at the moment. Really, really interesting times. We just need CG to get off their butts and do what we did, which is split Division 1 into 3 separate divisions. We really, really need them to do that. I think if they do that, it'd be the icing on the cake. And then at least if they are divvying up Div 1, regardless of what the logarithmic matchmaking does, it's going to be based off GP first, then the logarithm second. Whereas with everybody all cramped into Div 1, there can be a 500,000 to 1 million difference in overall GP. And you still get picked up against you can still get picked up against a whale. And it's never good, because that person, if you go up against someone that's got 1 million more GP on you, that they're going to have more in the kitchen sink. They simply will have more in the kitchen sink outside the logarithm. To throw squads at you, and having a couple of 80 or 90k squads that are lower down that don't really get used, it's still good for a mop up. If you've got two people left in a squad and you can throw 2 or 3 80k teams at it, you can mop up where your opponent can't. So yeah, they need to split it down. As soon as they split it down, the matchmaking would even out a little bit better. So, yeah, but anyway, we are nearly at the top of the hour.
Yeah. Also in chat, Ray goes, they can call it Div 1, Div 1A, Div 1A, Div 1A. I know it's 1A, 1AA, and AA. I'm going with it, okay? Yeah, no. Neil, what is going on around the Escape Pod cast?
Well, we've got our show on Friday, as usual. That will be me and my hetero life partner, Paul. Obviously, I did get into GAC this week, so I will be doing some GAC live streams during the week. And then we will be back around once Friday is done. Obviously, I'll do the Jedi Academy on Saturday. We'll be back to the show on Tuesday of next week. What about you, mate?
Oh Lord, I'm just trying to think here. You've got Biscuit Weasel and I. Also Paul said for
Yeah,
for
Lego
Escape Podcast,
Legacy Heroes Unboxed returns this week.
Yes. Let's see here for me. I've got my usual deal with Biscuit Weasel during the week for Biscuits and Starlords on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and most of the time Sundays. I have just started for the month of October, starting to play through the Souls series of games. So starting off with Dark Souls 1. That started this last weekend and will probably resume at some point this week. And into the weekend, because I like to deal with pain and suffering and difficulty curves in games. But yeah, lots of fun times though with all that though. Other than that, really not much else.
Yeah, we're good. We're at the end of the show. Hello, and welcome to the end of the show.
You were at the end of the show. All right. Guys, seriously, we appreciate all the people coming out to watch the show and to support us in what we're doing. Not just for GACenter, but for the Escape Podcast and the TepCon members as well. Greatly appreciate it. I know that I can say for that. Neil, you can agree to that, and Paul can say for it as well, that all of us greatly appreciate everything that everyone does. It's definitely been a worthwhile venture for everyone here. Yeah, guys, tune in next week for another episode of GACenter. And until then, Neil?
Yeah.
I'll listen this every time. Push the button.
You got it, mate. Ta-ta for now, folks.
See you guys.